Okay, live now. I just want to make sure everyone, if there's anyone around, there's no one here yet. I don't have any intro for this, but first of all, I'm not 100% sure my microphone is working. So if anybody does comment at some point, can you please tell me if you can hear me or not? So there's two people there. Can you hear me? If you can give me a thumb, well, any sort of thing, because my microphone's been doing very strange things. Anyway, I just want to say hello to everyone. I will get myself an intro for these, but I've just decided to do a series or great, thank you. A series, I guess, yeah, of yes, you can hear me, fantastic. So I'm not using this bloody microphone, I'm just using the thing. Series of people who I call them survivors, but you know, we're all survivors, but these are people who have been hit by, and of course, I'm going to say the warning. This discussion is going to be around the topic, going to be around suicide and around a person who's attempted to take their own life. And she's a lovely friend of mine who I knew beforehand. She's just told me she's getting herself ready, so hopefully she'll be here soon. Thanks, Julie. Yeah, so I met, we'll call her, I used to call her Geo, anyway, her name's Kieran, back when there was a short period in 2018 when I moved out of the living situation into a flat, and I started working at 000, which was really interesting. For me, it was very hard because I used to do a lot of night shifts, and I found, there she comes, I found it very hard to stay awake sometimes. You had to keep sort of or just get the standing desk. You just powder your nose, I'll be right with you. She probably can't hear me. Anyway, actually, no, I'm going to bring her in. She's called herself Georgia. Wonderful. You've got yourself. Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, yes. So we can hear you. Great. Fantastic. I was just telling people how I met you way back in I think it was 2018 or something. We were both working at 000, and it was kind of, I found it really fascinating. The dynamics within the whole room are pretty fascinating. We were both, there was a particular manager that was after us. She was just determined to get rid of me and Kieran, and she did. We got fired. Even I don't even know how long I was there for, but I did. I was there for a bit, but yeah. So we're taking the first port of call, emergency, police, fire, ambulance, or whichever the way we had to say it, over and over again. So yeah, so we got chatting there, and I remember sometimes you would be a bit quieter, and sometimes you'd be this dynamite. So yeah, we had lots of really nice talks, and I think you were more into the evening shifts as well.
Yeah. I preferred working the 10 till 2 or something ridiculous like that, or even overnighters. Yeah.
Overnight. I didn't do many overnights. I remember doing a New Year's Eve once. But anyway, I met you there, and then we kind of, I don't know, we didn't lose touch, but life went on. But when I was doing one of the Marooned plays, productions at the Alex Theatre, I was just sending out messages on Messenger, invites to it, and I got this message back from this gorgeous woman here, and she said, we said something along the lines of, that was very ironic because I attempted to leave the Matrix 2 weeks ago. And I was like, oh my God. Actually, that's actually very sad.
Yeah.
Very sad. And I just went, oh God, no, you don't have to come, of course, gosh. But you ended up coming.
I did.
To see
I did.
You came to see the play, and the worst thing was, sometimes you're aware of people. Nobody has actually. Well, very, very, very rarely does anyone leave during Marooned. And I remember seeing someone out of the corner of my eye leaving, and I was thinking, oh my God, I hope that's not her. But it wasn't you. Sometimes, and I have to say that the play we've always backed it up with warnings. We've always tried to get people along to be there afterwards and everything like that. And we talk and we talk and we talk. But you didn't leave. And I met up with you afterwards. So tell me, what did you, well, the one word you said was actually cathartic. But we're not here to talk about my play, or which is now going to be the film. But we will talk about that in a minute. But I want to talk about you, and I guess you can go into it as much as you want. What kind of got you there to that point?
I guess the thing is that most people are afraid to talk about it. Are you getting reverb?
No.
No. Okay.
Oh,
Good.
I'm not.
I guess, yeah, some people are afraid to talk about it. A lot of people are. It's sort of a subject that people veer away from really strongly. And what I found was there are people who I could mention it to, and then just people who were just absolutely mortified that I had such little disregard for myself. But I had, prior to having I'll call it an episode, because it was, I was working full time. I had my kids had just left home. I had the house to myself for the first time in my life, and had a good job, had friends, had a good circle of girlfriends, and I was busy, just busy. And what had happened was I had been feeling elevated. I do have a diagnosis of bipolar, and I had gone and seen my doctor about, I think it was 5 or 6 times in the last month, and seeking help. And I'd had a 7-year relationship with my doctor at that point, and he just kept sending me away. He actually prescribed melatonin, which was for bipolar. It's like a literal band-aid for a bullet wound. And I was tired. I knew that I couldn't keep going. I was in a manic phase. I'd been stuck in a manic phase for about 3 or 4 months, and I was exhausted. Everything was going really well. Like, I was managing to keep, all the balls in the air, like juggling life and everything. Yeah, and then it got to a point, it was just a sudden, I wouldn't say I'd been thinking about suicide. I wouldn't think that it was on my mind a lot. But just one night I came home and had a few glasses of wine, and then thought, I'll just have a few more. And it just a switch flicked. And I guess that's the nature of bipolar too. During manic episodes, you can be quite impulsive. And I was, and that's all it took. So for people who didn't understand, how it feels in the moment, I can say that it wasn't something that I thought about a lot or really indulged in a lot of, suicidation or, dreaming about it or anything like that, planning about it.
But so we call it situational distress. They actually more associate that with men for some reason, So is this the time was this another time?
Sorry?
Is this the time which you did it recently? Well, whenever that was, a few years ago, or is this another time?
No, this is 3 years ago. 3 years ago.
3 years.
And I guess, coming up to 3 years. And I guess I worked as a mental health advocate, which was really astounding as well. So suicide was not something that I was that was a foreign concept. It wasn't every day I asked people, oh, are you feeling safe? What to do if you're feeling unsafe. And that was the last thing I did. Like, I just didn't.
Can I ask, when you went to your doctor,
were
you saying, I'm actually not sleeping. Were you? Oh,
Yeah.
that's obviously melatonin. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was going days without sleep, but still functioning at work and still
Gosh.
functioning socially. So it was like, I was just it's like a mask. I was just one person, and then, one person at work, around different people, and then at home I'd just be just I'd be in despair, and I didn't know why, and I didn't learn until maybe a year afterwards, when I struck the right therapist,
Mm,
because everyone was saying to me, "What are you depressed about? How long have you been depressed?" And I'd say, I'm not depressed." And
mm.
I'd be scoffed at, and like, we would have medical professionals going, "Oh, she doesn't know what she's talking about." But it's true, I wasn't depressed. I was elevated.
Yeah. Well, I lived with Michael for 20 years
Yeah.
with bipolar. I understand, even though he didn't. There's so many different types of bipolar, isn't there?
Mm.
And I think he was a cyclic one.
Yeah.
Cycles constantly. Nothing really worked medication-wise for him.
Yeah.
But so that's awful, because you were crying for help, even
Yeah.
within your mania, if you want to call it mania.
Yeah. I was very much, help seeking, and
Mm,
because I was just getting blocked at every turn with a doctor who'd known my full history, and I'd been on a certain medication before for years and gone off it maybe about 2 years before that,
mm.
with his guidance. And when I went back to him and said, "Look, I really need to go back on that medication. I need to sleep. I'm physically exhausted. My body's breaking down. I'd lost a lot of weight," which, that's not the ideal way to lose weight, but a manic episode is guaranteed to bump kilos
Yeah,
for me.
block everything. It's an
Um,
incredible illness, to be honest.
mm, yeah. So when he just was prescribing melatonin, I was like, I didn't know how to go to sleep anymore.
Mm,
The sleep quality wasn't there,
yeah.
and
Switching off the brain, isn't it? That's like your brain's just going
mm,
con, 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 con. That's what I can tell.
yeah,
Tell you what, when I first met Michael, he probably had a few like high ones, and they used to give him this horrendously heavy drug that he would just be knocked out for about a day or two. Temazepam he used to take, but another one, yeah, and it was horrible afterwards, but it was sort of necessary.
yeah. It is. It's not a kind
Well,
illness.
no, it's not. I mean, it can give incredible. What I've seen,
Create
anyway.
Yeah, it has this side that it's two sides of the coin, 100%. And it gives you this incredible creativity and,
Mm,
electric buzz and like motivation to get things done, and like that feels good for everyone. Like when you go through periods of that, but these periods sort of develop into longer periods where um, you don't really stop creating, you don't stop. And you feel amazing as well, like the feeling of being bipolar and in mania. It feels good, and I'm not going to lie. Like people go their whole lives trying to achieve that feeling with drugs. Yet, yeah, it's a natural high. Like, you don't initially notice. Yeah, and the people around you that are closest will usually be the ones to tip me off and go, "Hey," but
Well, the thing is, obviously, if you're going up, you're going to come down.
yes,
How do you
yes.
find those times? I mean, sometimes I do call you and you say I've been hiding, and I totally understand that.
I'm
So everyone
hiding.
has a right to be to do that, especially at the moment.
Yeah.
How long does that generally take you? Because that's another whole thing to deal with, which is,
Yeah. So I'm coming out of just now, I'd like to say I'm coming out of now, a depression that's lasted since August.
no,
And and
awful.
yeah, and I only went to I don't feel suicidal. I don't feel, I just feel extremely tired. I feel drained. I feel, I don't want to be involved with anyone or anything. I just want to stay in my house where it's,
Yeah.
it's cozy. Um, even the beautiful sunshine outside is not enough to pull me out of my house
It's
for, like,
hibernating. Well, yeah. So I don't have that. I don't experience that, but
yeah,
I've seen it, and I know, and I can see
yeah,
or feel where you could be with that.
mm,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I'm more of
coming,
an irritating person because I can carry on. So, but
yeah, so coming out of a depression, it's kind of weird because you feel mildly elevated and you're always
mm,
cautious about, is this going to go too far? So we're either
yeah.
just stuck in a depressive state or fearful that things are about to kick off.
Wow, that's right. So
That's
do you have
that's
many plateaus? Do you have many what they call even keels?
um I'm glad to say that I don't have a lot of manic
Mm,
anymore, like dangerously manic.
yeah.
Um it's kind of always in a state of flux. Either it's a depression or it's a mania, and the bits in between are probably the most dangerous for me because what if I don't pick it up? And because I live alone, I don't have people around me. I'm currently not leaving home to go to work either. So
Right. Yes.
I don't have those people around that safety net. So I've got to be really cautious. So it sort of puts you in a state of anxiety a lot of the time about it. And what if that could happen again? So I kind
Mm,
of I, s- I make my house safe. I don't have alcohol on hand. I don't get scripts filled that I'm not going to use.
mm.
I definitely don't stockpile anything just in case anymore. Um,
Yeah. That is
yeah,
hard. That's incredibly hard
mm,
because that is one thing. I'm just quickly saying Michael again. I could see when he'd be going up. Lots and lots and lots and lots of, well, he always makes lots of phone calls, but excessive, constant, staying up late, not sleeping, more coffee, um, talk, 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 but then also irritable if you don't come in on what the person's saying. Now, I haven't seen that in you. I think you're a different character, but
yeah,
to be able to be monitoring yourself, that is a massive thing. I
mm,
have to say, because that's really such a shame you can't get some backing to help you. Just checking in once a week, every couple of days, not in your face,
yeah.
because it's
I
huge for
think
you.
even if I've got an adult son, as you know, Ro,
Yeah,
that he's beautiful. He will check on with me, a couple of times a week. My daughter lives in Sydney, and
good.
she will check in on me and have a chat. And because they're in their early 20s and they're off living their life, I won't always be honest with them about where I'm at now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I guess I've learned to sort of be quiet about it because a lot of people, like I was saying before, they don't know what the right thing to say is, and they can be
Mm,
it can be quite uncomfortable for other people, and I recognize that. So I sort of limit the talk about what's going on. Like I might say, I haven't left the house, and my kids will take that as okay, something's going on, that's okay.
yeah,
Or,
yeah.
um, if I start crying out a lot, they'll be like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Yeah,
They're not as rude.
I
They'll
think
never
that's
say,
really sad. Well, not for your kids, because they
"Yeah,
obviously do love you, but I think it's so sad that you can't actually, that people are so scared of, well,
yeah,
bad mental health, or,
yeah,
potentially someone struggling. This is the reason why I'm going to say
it's
with Marooned,
silence."
it
Yeah,
has it's the silence that is the killer. You can't just ignore it. And so many people just slip away or just go, well, I'm a pain, I'm a burden, I'm a
mhm,
shame, I'm a whatever,
yeah,
whatever. I'm not, people don't want to put up with me. They can't see how bad. and it's really bad. And Marooned is all about talking, as you know, and coming back to community and actually
Absolutely.
recognizing when someone's struggling.
Yeah,
And we have
it's like suicide's a dirty word, and it's demonized, I think, in media. It's not spoken about enough. It's not in a normal everyday sort of. I mean, I was working in mental health, so it was in my everyday, but I think there's this stigma about asking about it. And one of the things that happened to me after my suicide attempt, and they even the language around it, they try and butcher that as well. It is a suicide attempt. Let's just call it for what it is. Let's be honest.
What do they want you to call it?
Oh,
Because you're not allowed to use the word failed.
sorry.
Or no,
Failed attempt. Yeah, I guess
it's
failed attempt or unsuccessful or incomplete. And it's like, let's just give it its language back. Like, stop doing this to our language, please. But one of the things that I learned out of this whole situation when I went back to work and was working with people who had, psychosocial disability, I would say to them, "Hey, how are you feeling? Tell me, what's going on." And instead of just a checkbox on a piece of paper, make it a conversation. Hey, look, how are you feeling? What's going on? What are you working on? Or is everything?
Yeah, I wonder if it's because people don't have time. Sorry.
Have a conversation. That's what you can do with people. You can't force it out of them, but you can say to them, "Look, if you need someone, I'm here to talk to. Give me a yell. These are my days. If not, like, this is the rest of my team. If there's anything you need." And yeah,
because they have so many things within companies now. We've got the well-being, blah blah, or we've got all of these organizations doing things. Beyond Blue, Lifeline, which is probably, I'm not sure about. I've never called it. So I did speak to someone yesterday. She goes to my dog park. Well, not my dog park. I met her yesterday in the dog park, and I told her what I'm doing. He said, "Oh, I used to work for Lifeline." And I said, "What did you think of them?" And she said, "No comment." Now, I don't know.
Lifeline would have been probably the last people I'd ring. And that's not a surrogate, Sam. It's just like, I wasn't calling anyone. I knew I had people I could call. They weren't the people I was going to call. I'm not calling a stranger to talk about my mental health and, tell me that everything's okay. I have many years ago, probably about 13, 14 years ago, I lived in a different place and met up with a writer. He was releasing a book and it was about suicide, and I can't remember his name now, someone Bruin, and his story was quite amazing. His daughter and I were friends at the time, and he'd been a lifelong operator and he was a psychologist. That was his job, but he worked for Lifeline for many, many years, and he came home from his Lifeline shift and his wife had suicide. So it doesn't matter who you are or what you know or how close to someone, like, that is a perfect example of, like, wow, if that guy could pick it up, like, this is really.
That's
I think I never told you about that before. I'll find the book. I'll let you know.
Absolutely. See, this is the thing. I know many people who wouldn't pick up and talk their life to a stranger. I agree. We have to get back. Look, I'm not saying whatever. Anyway, I see a woman in the street here who has a daughter. Well, she's not going to know I'm talking about. It's pretty obvious her daughter's killing herself, like with anorexia. She is so sick looking. Now she has a moon boot on. And I stopped the woman one day when I saw her by herself and I said, "Look, you don't have to say anything to me, but I can see," and I started to talk. She said, "Yeah, she said the words, she's got anorexia and she's got osteoporosis. She's 20.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Now that's girl is killing herself.
Yeah.
So you know, that's a
It's
form. And
slow,
I
painful.
thought that woman, the mother, whatever, she might need someone to talk to. She
Yeah.
might need someone to go, fuck, I don't know what to do. My daughter's, you know, I've been there to an extent, you
Yeah.
know, with mine. And so that, and I'm just saying, I'm not saying who I am, I'm just saying this is the thing. We can't be scared to talk. We can't be scared to connect with people if we see someone struggling. You know, if you see someone sitting even by themselves, and you know that, I don't know, they have a look. Sometimes are you okay? Yeah, I'm just whatever. Just we're all humans.
Yeah.
And sorry. So going back to what you're saying there with the life, with the, I mean, I shouldn't. One of them. I don't know. Because Guy May was told, you know, why don't you call this? He's the one who the play came from. We've got all of these different organisations.
Yeah.
Suicide
It's like
prevention.
a pass the parcel. Try this one, call this person, try this one. And it's like the buck stops with the person that they tell. Like, if you notice somebody's not doing well, it's up to you. I mean, you've got to at least talk about it with them, throw it out there. Don't be afraid to use word suicide. And that's one of the things I did with my work after coming out of this. I was never afraid to ask about, is suicide something that you're thinking about? Straight out, bang, hit them between the eyes with it. And the amount of times people would go, well, yeah, you know, because it's that brutal conversation that really does just hit them between the eyes, and they've got no place to go. Like, let's not dress the language up. We're not going to gussy it up as this or that, or skirt around the edges. That's my gift to you from where I've been, is to be
That's what's
brutally
been
honest
happening.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, as you know, there's guidelines in Australia, and they're guidelines.
Yeah.
That we're not allowed to mention methods.
Yeah.
Within media and performance. Now, this play mentions methods. That's all.
Yeah.
We don't make it sound like it's great. Anything. It's obviously it's shown as not a good thing, because the play is more about life and living rather than taking a life death. And so, you know, very likely in Australia, the ratings and all of that are going to be affected. But I don't, as I said for someone recently, after I was talking to this woman in South Africa that wants to use Marooned. I said, this is to help people. I want to get this to organizations, to men, women's groups, to be used in schools maybe, but organizations where they teach psychologists, psychiatrists. It's already doing that in England.
Yeah.
And just trying to put people's words, life comments up as well. And so if it ends up in an independent cinema here, fantastic. But the point is, I'm not here to make a blockbuster. I'm going to make a fantastic film which can hopefully help people. And that's what I'm doing. But I lose my track of thought sometimes. Just going to say, so this woman worked as a lifeline 2, and as a trained counselor, I realised the shortfalls of the organisation, but it would be a remiss of me to dismiss its benefits altogether. I too agree. I'm sure it's not everybody. There have been people who've helped, obviously, but it's not for everyone at the same time.
Yeah, I think there's so much focus on just call this line or that line, or and obviously the people that work there are doing their best as well. They come from a place that's, you know, amazingly.
Contact me if you want to talk, Sheree Porter, or because you know I'm doing Marooned. I was going to say, so the methods thing, yes. So the methods, it's in the media, it's in the newspapers. I was told yesterday. It's in, but apparently yesterday it came up in the news. Somebody dropped in the city and fell onto someone else.
Wow.
So they've actually very badly hurt someone and taken their own life.
So as a society, are they insulating us by just not talking about it, or the methods? No. when things like this happen or we hear about it in our close circle, what happens? We go, well, that's not normal. There's something really wrong with that person. Well, yeah, there was, but
and these are just
doesn't
everyday
whitewash
people.
it.
And then celebrities or whatever, if we hear it as celebrity, that we always know what they've done. But yeah, there's so many young people. Young, mixed, everybody. It's rampant. Unfortunately, it's epidemic, and you know, yours came from mental illness. Doesn't always. Now, when I say a bad mental time, and it doesn't always. This other band, Pete, that was on recently, his was just like life was going punch, 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 until he just thought, I'm out. But he's here, and he was. He's very, very glad, and I'm glad you're here. I hope you are. Finding its mood. Your algorithms are changing depending on your mood. Wow, that's interesting. Human Medicine by Charlie Goldsmith. Oh, Charlie Goldsmith. That's Toddy Goldsmith's and Fiona's brother. Challenges, how to help those challenges. Well, I might get in touch with him actually. I hope you are. So you're coming out of. That's a major depression you've been talking about.
But you wouldn't have known it because that's when you've lived with it for quite a while. You kind of gauge people's thoughts and feelings about it, and just like, I'm not that person today, or I'll just put on a happy face for today and go out and do the things that I need to do. And even with your closest friends, sometimes you cannot be brutally honest, like you're feeling absolute dead, but you have to go out and that's part of maintaining friendship. If you don't maintain your friendships, like at the end of the day, when you do have a massive crisis, who are you going to call? Who is going to be there? Who's going to scrape you back together? Because I guess
always call me. Don't ever feel you can.
Absolutely.
But sometimes,
that's probably the most important part of my journey. I mean, I had a lot of shame, I had a lot of guilt, I had a lot of survivor guilt when I realized, when I came out the other side. The road to recovery was extremely steep. I had to regain a lot of trust. It was a brutal experience to survive it. In fact, it would have been easy just to have let go, but I'm so glad that I've come through it and survived it. And through that, I've also worked out who will be there, and I've become a better person because of the experience, a lot more empathetic, a lot more, less judgmental.
But you wouldn't recommend it, of course.
I don't recommend it to anyone. Having to deal with the recovery is horrendous. Medical professionals can be so dismissive, and even though that's their job, it's like sometimes you feel like they know what I did, and they're just like saying, you've got this disregard for your own life, why should I help you? But coming out of it, yeah, I do believe like it was a tough, long slog for a long, long time. And then finally feeling okay again and going, okay. I had to go back to my place of employment after this. And
you just knew that they all knew or something.
Yeah, everybody knew. And I kind of got called back before I was ready to get called back, and I was like, I'm ready to come back. And I had a manager at the time who insisted, and medical certificate or no, they insisted, and I came in, and I just remember I broke down, and I told my team what I'd done, and my team were mortified the fact that I was there and the fact that I was talking about it, even though we worked in a mental health environment. So it's the discussion around it is so, I don't know, nuanced. It's so there's just so many facets to it to get it right, but to not talk about it is probably the biggest sin.
Yeah, but so just going back, because you told, I think when I was in touch, you said I'm in rehab. So what did
Yeah.
that entail? Was that
Yeah, so, they call it rehab, I guess, and it's, after it happened, I woke up in a public hospital in a locked ward, um, where they assumed that I must have been depressed. So, they pumped me full of antidepressants, which obviously would throw me straight into a
oh
full-blown
my God.
psychosis. To bring me out of the psychosis, they gave me ECT, and yeah, I was in hospital for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then I got shipped out to, it's like a step down house, which is like a recovery program, supported recovery program, and where I had a lot of memory loss from the ECT as well, which was just charming,
Mm,
absolutely brilliant. You know, you forget everything, you forget how you feel, you forget everything.
wow.
Don't recommend that either, a little extreme. But in the step down house, they support you to get back to living your life. So they will help you get on your medication and get stabilized. And it's in a house with maybe 12 other people. I think mine was women only. And every night, somebody different cooks a meal with support from workers if they need it. But it's just a time of pretty much quiet reflection. You sit there and colour in and do puzzles. I'm not joking. That is sometimes what it takes to get back
Mm.
to where you need to be. Painting,
Was
drawing.
it one-on-one talk?
No. So you'll have a worker, maybe one worker to 3 people, and they will like this. It's this house, big house that you live in,
Yeah.
and the workers, shuffle through in shifts. You'll have an on-site psychiatrist. You'll have psychology on-site. If you need a blood
And how
test,
did you feel at that point when you were in that house with those 12 other women? How did you feel?
confused, really confused, because I couldn't remember what had happened.
Mm.
And because the ECT, it took away my memory of why I was there or who I was. Or I've been looking at people going, and this one girl, and I remember, and I said to her, "Do I know you?" And she goes, "Yeah, we're at the hospital together." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Fair enough." And she's actually the girl I took with me to see the play.
Oh,
So
wow. So
yeah,
she was another person who'd attempted?
yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness. How
Yeah,
did
she
you
made an
how did
attempt
you
on
go with her?
someone else and herself. So neither was successful, thank goodness. But yeah, she was in the house as well.
How did you both, just, you don't have to go much, but about the play, how did it affect you two?
So,
Story.
I just the car ride home was very quiet, and she was a bit surprised. And I said to her, "Oh, do you think, sort of thing?" And she was like, "Oh, I'm not a theatre person." And that was as much as I could get out of her. And I think that's big. It
Mm,
kinda hit a raw nerve. I mean, for me, I knew what it was, what was coming.
yeah.
Um, Obviously, I'd actually bought tickets during 2020, at Moorabbin, and, couldn't go at the last minute because
Oh, yes.
I got sick. Let's not say I got COVID, but I was unwell, didn't go. So it was nice to rebook a few years later and then go
Mm,
finally. It's like, I can't do this twice, I need to go. And,
mm,
yeah,
wow.
I have talked about this play, I feel like ad nauseum, to the organisation I worked for. And, during suicide prevention training, I'm talking about it, like they're implementing all of these strategies um, to foresee it and understand it. And I'm like, yeah, your staff need to know. They need to go and see this. And they're like, oh, she's just having a, whatever, it's her mate or whatever, I don't know, but quite dismissive about it. And I think they're
Mm,
putting so much money into suicide prevention and, programs to educate their staff. But, this would have been an
yeah,
amazing tool
such
for
a
them to
simple
have.
thing. I don't know if that was the company I've approached, but some people you've told me about, I've approached them all, and there's just silence. They don't come
Yeah.
back.
Oh, I've mentioned it so many times. I've been there, like,
Mm,
obviously 3 years since, my attempt to exit the matrix. But yeah, they just, I don't know why they're shying away from that, or
Because, yeah, I think it's connected with that very wokey way of this is the way we do things. This is the way we do things. I mean, I do role play, and I had a job yesterday. I don't do very many anymore. So can't really say where it was, anything like that. But anyway, I was supposedly had a stroke. Just had a stroke, and basically had that braxia where you can't talk very well. And one of the students, they're only students, so I'll give them that. So I'm allowed to give feedback afterwards to the teachers to give to them. She was just, so, how are you doing? Enjoying your day so far? And I hear that your daughter's coming down. Hey, I bet you're excited about that. So in my stroke role, I'm like, no, I'm not excited. I can't speak. I sort of made them think, guys, this is reality you're going to face. You can't put all your little comments into everything. You can't treat everyone the same and just come in with if I'm an uppity person, I'm going to make this person uppity. See them where they are. Come in where they are.
Yeah.
And find out what's going on. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. And you'd be surprised, a lot of practitioners are like that. And you're just like, oh God, how long have I got with this person? Like, I'm really not going to this person to see me. They don't connect with me. And a lot of it is about connection. A lot of, who your care provider is. I changed my GP after all of that happened. I went free ranging for a new GP. One of the hardest things that it's true.
Yeah.
Yes. And I stumbled across a GP that is just so beautiful and so accommodating and accepting, and I can tell her anything. And I fronted up to her a couple of months ago, and I walked in and she just went, "It's okay." And I didn't even say a word, and she could tell from my body language that I was off. I needed help. And I guess everybody needs that person in their life who can, like a good GP is just worth their weight in gold. I know that, people don't always see the same GP or don't have access to that, but
with someone like you do, because you need to be understood.
Yeah. I can't just float around with any old GP with the medications that I'm prescribed.
You need someone to monitor it properly. And I'm so glad, which you said before, that you are happy or glad that you are unsuccessful and you are here. Because I have to say, whenever I do see you, I know there's something else perhaps going on. I don't know if there is, but you always have a big smile. You're always very much that. And so I suppose you've got a beautiful smile, so that's not really a problem, but it's just what's behind it. We have to help.
Eyes. Yeah, absolutely. And there, sometimes there are no signs, and I guess that's where you just be a strong shoulder. And the more people that know that you are a friendly, in those situations, like I talk to some people and I don't be stupid, and I'm like, well, I'd never open up to them, would I? Or they might say, what happened? I said, oh, I did this, and they'd be like, oh, well, attention seeking. It's like, dude, this is the farthest thing from attention seeking, because I didn't tell anyone. I didn't,
who thinks like that? I mean, why would you be? I mean, maybe a tiny proportion within a relationship or something, or they want to get that attention, but I don't think the majority. It's too massive a thing, and you've got to get to a point. But the fact that I just want to go back to what you were saying about you afterwards, and the whole rebuilding yourself and the shame.
Yep.
How long that must have taken? So it's 3 years ago. Going back into the same workplace, that's huge.
Going back to that workplace was I knew that I loved my workmates. I worked in a really beautiful environment. We were all very supportive, which is really unusual for most workplaces these days. But I had a group of people that, for the most, I still felt shame, but once I said it, the healing began, and they were aware of what had happened. And I was, the suicide prevention training, kicks in for everyone. And, it's kind of interesting. I did get questions about it from my work, like, what happened? Like, why did you, how did you get to that point? What are the warning signs? People who really wanted to learn from my experience. And I guess I was, there's a dissatisfying answer is that I can't tell you what anyone else's warning signs would be. I can't give you any of those because it's such a personal journey for everyone. I can only speak for myself and say that, look, the world felt like it was crumbling around me. I was so exhausted. I needed to stop. I had, thrown out, I'd thrown up the bat signal to my GP who I trusted, who seemed to just let me slip through the cracks. Interestingly, I did go back and see him after I got out of the step down house, and waited. He was running late, very normal, went into his room, and the first thing he asked me was about what I could do for him from my role in my job, if I could help him do something for some of his patients. And I just remember sitting there feeling totally gutted and thought, yeah, look,
What do you mean, as a survivor?
wow, 7 years of coming to see this man, trusting this man, and I've barely escaped with my life. And the first he's asking me is what I can do for his patients. And I was just like, you know what? I actually think we're done here. And I just stood up, walked out. I cried about it. It was like, having a healthcare provider that you trusted so implicitly and finding out they actually don't give a shit was probably the most soul destroying in the whole journey, because I thought, not only did I present him on so many occasions and, ask for help, this is proof and validation that he actually didn't care. So I'd say for anyone who is feeling unwell, have a sign, have a code word with your friends, like talk about it. Don't shy away from it. It's not attention seeking. It's
2 comments put up here. First of all, Cherie said that's some incredible strength to go back to the same environment.
Yeah.
So you agree.
Thanks,
and
Cherie.
Denise, this gorgeous woman, Denise, who sells the hemp flower products. And
Oh,
come on my thing again about her shop. So I sell her products. Well, she sells her products, but with my earthworm woman, which is this today, I don't know what this is today. Beautiful hemp flower oil. And Denise, I won't talk about when she was suicidal. She said, her sister said, "Oh well, that's your choice."
I'm so sorry, Denise.
I know some other person that's with family as well. They can't. Maybe
no. Sometimes the people that you expect to be closest to you are not going to be your biggest advocates. And if that person doesn't recognize that you need help, you need to reach out to other people. Yes, Lifeline, they can be a source, or your GP. If you're close with your GP and have a trusting relationship, friends, family, it's just so important to talk, and don't stop talking until you actually strike somebody who is going to listen. Sit somebody square down, look them square in the eyes and then actually listen to you. I think that's so important.
Really actually understand the depths. So, I wonder if Denise's sister thought, if she said that, then well, that's your choice, that they would put her off. I wonder if she thought it was that shallow that, I'm not going to. Walked in on a family member in the middle of the act while also battling my own demons. To walk in the darkness alone is something else. You need to come on and talk to me, Cherie.
Yeah.
Because, and I don't want to, it's, sounds heavy or blah, blah, blah. But the thing is, we have to talk, like you say, just
Yeah.
it's normal. It's part of life. It's a part of society that's happening.
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen, but it needs to be talked about. So if people are struggling, they can't struggle alone. They shouldn't be. That's
No, you
massive.
just have to keep trying. And I
So
guess
Denise,
afterwards, so many people, wow.
your
So
fellow worker asked how I was, and when I said I was struggling and wanted to hang myself, she said, "But Nisi, you're so hot." And this was a woman who was a friend and worked in mental health. No idea.
I'm not surprised. I'm not
I'm not
surprised
surprised.
because
I
I
remember
don't
when
know.
I was years ago. I'll just quick 2 second think. When I was about 20, how old was I? About 19, 20, and I was actually seeing a psychologist for eating disorders. Anyway, she saw me at a wedding or something, and she said, "I hope you're eating." And I thought, I ain't going to see you anymore. That's not the way. It's exactly like that. You're so hot.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some people who've worked in mental health for a while, we do develop this this exterior, this shell around us, and this dark humor, which seems to insulate us because we see the wild side of life and death, unfortunately. And yeah, I think black humor is something that everyone uses in that industry uses to just get through the day. So when we do put up the flag, maybe that's why it's not seen as well.
That's what. It's not the boy who cried wolf. That's different. That's no,
Mm.
it's something else. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Oh,
the mental health workers and black humor, it's a whole phenomenon. Like it is, it's yeah.
Are you still working in any field like that now, or I'm not sure if you're doing your own thing now?
Yeah, I resigned from my work, and despite how beautiful and supportive they were, I just found that I could not go back to. I did go back and work in that environment for quite a while at reduced hours, and unfortunately, I kept picking up the phone. On Mondays, I'd usually be scheduled on to answer the phone, and anyone that works in mental health knows that things happen over the weekend. So I kept getting calls for people in our program who had not made it through the weekend, and that had quite a devastating impact on me. And I couldn't separate myself from that. Every time the phone rang, I'd just like, oh, and I had my own caseload as well. And
So you're talking about
I,
people who've taken their lives over the weekend.
yeah. So you get a call from a family member or a medical professional, or to say that they passed away over the weekend, so you can take them off your books. Or, literally, yeah. And sometimes they were in residential care, sometimes like they were in a variety of places. So I got two of these on two consecutive Mondays and decided, you know what, I just can't keep doing this, because I used to be panicking about my caseload and the people on my caseload. And on Friday afternoon, I'd be having a panic and need to get in touch with every single one of them just to say, hey, how you going? Do the check-in and see if there's anything they need or anything that I can do or whatnot. But yeah, I became
putting yourself over there. You wouldn't be.
No, I became quite fixated on it and quite hypervigilant about my own consumers, to the point where it became unhealthy for myself. I could recognize that. I'd be worried on the weekend and think I should ring them. And it's like, no, I'm not allowed to ring anyone on the weekends. That's not my office hours. I'm not allowed to do that. So, in the end, I just went, no, I need to step away from this for my own mental health and well-being. I need to be my advocate first. It's the whole mask for yourself before anyone else kind of situation.
100%.
And stepped away. Got a lot going on in the background.
I don't know. Sorry,
I've got a lot going on in the background now, sort of developing my own small business and still working in a similar industry, but I've just said, I can pretty much pick and choose the sorts of jobs that I take on. And I am shying away from the more psychosocial because it's not good for me. Yeah.
Except in this sort of situation, and I hope it's okay for you, because I think that, speakers and people like that, now when I get the film up, which I reckon should be could be even July this year, it'd be ready. Having people come and talk, that's, I've said this to businesses, if you know any businesses who want to sponsor, they'll get to come and talk out why they're a sponsor. And if anyone does know of anyone, and I'm not, when I put these things up, I'm not talking about you guys out there, because I know we are all struggling. I'm talking about, do you know anyone who might want to get behind it? A business might want to get behind it or something, to any degree. I'm just putting it out everywhere. This is the Australian Cultural Fund, but you can contact me if you want to do sponsorship, and then there's different tiers. Anyway, that's just sound. But I don't know. You said back. You said, you're in a good place in a way, or you're feeling good. But of course, like you said, I can understand. That's a scary thing as well. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the time you just don't feel in control of your environment, and I think that that's part. And like you were talking about before, the medication and medication compliance is a huge part. Although you don't want to be medication compliant because it has its own drawbacks, like waking up with a hangover every day, it's drug hangover, and just for that to be your new normal, it does not feel right. But you've just got to do what you need to do, and eventually, the darkness does lift. And that's one thing that I've really taken away from it. Like, even though I've been in a deep depression over the last, however many months, I know that at some point it's going to lift. I'm going to start feeling better.
What do you do for yourself when you're in that? Do you just go, okay, well, we just got to ride it out? Or
I nurture myself. I sleep as much as I possibly can. I'm really fortunate that I have that ability now. If I want to interact, I will interact. Like, I will make appointments and I'll get to the day and go, I can't do it, and I don't do it. We'll just call and say, I can't do this. Sorry about that. But that's what happens. There's things that, I'll concentrate on getting more sleep. I'll concerted effort on diet and exercise. I have to get out of the house every day. My daughter and I have she's very, very health conscious. She's a bodybuilder. And obviously she's got a huge regime, but she's like, okay, every day I want to see a photo of somewhere in your environment, a different photo. So I have to go out and take a photo, and that's like her safety net to how, I'm getting out of the house. Otherwise I would sit with the curtains closed, lights down low, and just wallow in my own self-pity. But you need to do the things, recognize these are the steps, and they're well-worn steps at this point in time. I can say I've tread those steps so many times, and it's tried and true method. I don't like medication, but that's unfortunate. But
I have talked to Kieran about the CBD oil, hemp plant. There was a question mark whether they would be contraindicative to what you're taking. She's taking anxiety meds, I mean,
I would love to. I have had a consultation with a doctor that prescribes, and they've just said bipolar, no way, too risky, which is unfortunate. But it'd be amazing to kind of conquer the anxiety. That would be amazing.
Oh, saying the only contraindications are blood thinners. So you could take hemp oil as well with medication for bipolar. I guess it depends what it is, but the anxiety,
It's a funny one because doctors are so scared to prescribe anything off label, anything slight. Like I know that this will change
Oh,
in years to come. They'll look back and go, oh, cannabis was the key to this.
but it's this
Oh
habit as well. Yeah,
yeah,
they
and
synthesize. It's not natural.
yeah, yeah. So
But
I guess also if you want your if you require help, it's really important that you follow the steps of your practitioners. So for me, it's, I need to stay away from alcohol. Alcohol does not do me any favors. I need to take my medication as they prescribe it. Like it's like I need to march to the beat of their drum. And then hopefully when I need help, if I need help again, I'll have that help at hand. It's kind
yeah.
of,
But anyway, like I said, we don't have to keep going on this much more. But I'm close by if you need. So
thank you.
a phone call, even, you don't have. But
Thank you.
because I was doing a little bit of support stuff
Yeah,
with you,
yeah. Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
they
for sure.
didn't recognize someone like you wouldn't need. That's
So quite ironic.
insane.
I suppose I can say it. I was working on helping people get on the NDIS. That was my job. Writing reports, consolidating reports, looking for evidence, and supporting people through the process. That was my most recent job. And all of the people that I supported had psychosocial impairment, which that was part of the funding arrangement. That's what happened. And what was I going to say there? Slipped my mind, but
We're going to talk about you were going to what's
I can't remember. I just totally lost my train of thought.
hang on. It was about hang on, I'll play it back. I can't tell
Thank you. Oh my God, I love that.
I can't play it back now because we're live.
I guess I was just laughing about what my previous role was. But honestly.
Yes, that's
Sorry.
right. That's right. You were helping people. Oh, it was about the support of getting some funding to help give you somebody.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes,
Yeah,
ironically, that was my job, helping people get NDIS support. I myself got on the NDIS, and like I've spent the last 8 or 9 years fighting for people to get onto the NDIS in one shape or form, or getting people onto the NDIS, I should say. And now I'm on the NDIS. Pretty much, they allot this huge amount for me to draw from, but I have not been able to access any of it. A smidgen of it for a support worker here or there, but it's such a mess. I just
And
cannot believe
I can vouch for that because I had to deal with her. Was it manager or something? And they were like,
yeah, plan manager.
and it was so hard to actually go. Yes, I've been.
Rahana done the work. She'd been supporting me. She'd been amazing. And
No, I'm saying that, but I just was doing the basic thing that you need. You don't need someone in your back, over your shoulder, staring at you. You just want someone to come out for coffee, to have a walk, whatever, a chat.
Absolutely, to get me out of the house, but then they don't pay the invoices. So it's like, I don't know how everyone else is getting money out of NDIS, but I don't seem to be able to do it.
And I don't seem to be able to get the job. not that right now, I need to concentrate what I'm doing with Marooned. I'm going to carry on with my storyboarding. I've done 100 story.
Oh, wow.
That's only page 35 or something of the script. So I've got lots to go. But I want to thank you so much. And
thank you
I'm
for
going to
your
give you a
time.
call after this to make sure you're okay. If anyone really does struggle, I think what Kieran's saying, and it really is, just do not feel bad about reaching out to people. Put it out there, tell people, because we have to be there. We are a family of humans, and then within that family, there's a family. If your biological family aren't there for you, I mean, we're all the same, but we're different. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just say keep going and get that help that you need. Keep
Yeah.
knocking on doors. Yeah.
Close family member has ostracized me for the last 3 months, and I worry so much that it has consumed my thoughts daily. Doris,
Yeah.
honestly, give me a message, anyone. Don't. I haven't got numbers. I should be having the numbers here, shouldn't I? But if you want to reach,
Any
go.
Go to your phone and start opening up. Start at A and start working through every single person in your phone until you find somebody who you feel comfortable enough.
Yes, that's a good idea, because you forget about people sometimes. You look through.
I
But
have a blindness for people that I don't see on a regular, and I'll go through my phone and go, you know what, I'm just going to, even if you just call them, you don't need to tell them what's going on, but have a conversation where you're starting to open up. And just through talking, you're saying things that are going out of your mouth and going from one side of your brain to the other, so your brain can process it. And by saying it out loud, I believe it's a huge step.
And here's somebody else's response, which you might not have. What's MH? Now
Mental
I struggle with M. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is not uncommon. It is so common.
Yeah. I'm going to put the
Stigma has to go.
Earthworm Woman email in here. If anyone wants to get in touch, and I mean, probably it might be nice to have. It's really important to hear an individual story. I was thinking it'd be good to have a few people on, but when you actually see how one human, and you haven't even talked about, I think, you've got family, grandchildren and everything. So you've got many reasons, and another one on the way, I believe.
Yeah,
Many
very
reasons.
exciting. Yeah.
So
you can, even though you've got all of that, you can still but I think you've just got to remind yourself that after the storm, what comes after the storm, it's the fresh roots, the buds, the flowers,
that's
that
a
beautiful
really
smell
interesting,
post-storm.
a fantastic thing to say. So if you may be in the moment, and that is, I'm just going to say it again, marooned. Yes, situation. Yes, this happened. Yes, I got to this point. The characters. Yes, I didn't know where to go. Blah, blah, blah. I thought I was ostracized. I thought I just shouldn't be around. But in this space, they come to realize, what about afterwards? What about the people who find me? What about the people who I've affected? What about where I could actually go, which I'll never know?
Absolutely.
People are still talking here. So it was a very hard situation to go through, but in a way it helped me push through to get the right help, despite the system doing what it can to not help.
Yeah, it seems a bit clunky sometimes. It seems a bit clunky a lot of the time. We won't dance around that. Absolutely. And once you get into, it seems like you have to have a crisis event to actually get in the system, which is ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But once you're in that system, it's full steam ahead. So I guess the idea is, how do you get the help you need from the system without having to go through that crisis event? I don't know.
That's right. That's why the talking and the connection needs to happen to not get to that point. That's right.
That's right.
And even to find people who have got the same sort of thought patterns, perhaps. Great idea for people to do their own research and look into endocannabinoid system. You have to come back on. We have receptors for the cannabis and full circle. They go organic. Yeah, I know. That's all right, Doris. Honest to goodness, please. Anybody struggling, just reach out. The Earthworm Woman thing, reach out to everyone. And help me make this film. Not that this is the be all and end all, because it's just what it is. It's talking about the premise. The premise of the film is we need to talk. We need to connect community.
100%. Talk to anyone you can come across. If you're feeling depressed, go out and talk to five people a day that you don't know. Simple conversation.
Op shops are quite good for that. You know what I mean?
Op shops, coffee shops, Woolworths, anywhere. Just go out and have a conversation, because you value. There are people that value you, and because you can't see them today doesn't mean they're not there. But go and make yourself known in places, you know.
Yeah, and that's why the
Talk.
supermarkets, not that we want to go to them, but you know, they cut down on people, all the customer service ones, whatever. People think you're being a bit of a, you know, I'm not going over there. No, number one, I don't want to go over there, but I like talking to people. Same.
Yeah. And I think it's really important that we do not lose that social connection, because I think that connection is everything. Yeah. So doesn't matter who you talk to a couple of people a day, even if you don't want to. And you know,
well, you've spoken to lots of people today.
I have. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for hearing my story.
Come on later as well. All right, lots of love, Kieran, and
talk soon.
Thank you everybody who's been part of this today. Yeah, if you know anyone who's wealthy, please show them my sponsorship package. Well, show them the cultural fund. Sounds a bit rude. Show them my sponsorship package. See everyone. I'm going to stand up.